there, it's Carol with Carolbcrafts. Today we'll be making this sweet little Mother's Day card. It's project number 1 in my Dress to Impress class kit. The Dress to Impress class kit centers around the Dress to Impress stamp set and the all dressed up dies. The Dress to Impress class kit will be available through May 31st, 2020, and you can get the details on my website, www.carolbcrafts.com. Now I'll give the dimensions in this video so that if you don't have the class kit, you can follow along and make this adorable card with us. Now, in addition to the Dress to Impress bundle, which includes the stamps and dies, I'll be using the Petal Pink ink pad, the light and dark Petal Pink Stampin' blends, the light Pool Party Stampin' blend, and the light Mango Melody Stampin' blend. For your adhesives, you'll need your mini dimensionals, your glue dots, snail adhesive, and some multi-purpose glue. For tools, you'll want your take your pick tool, your scissors, and you'll need a die cutting machine, a manual die cutting machine. I'll also be using my Stamparatus stamping tool and the D acrylic block. So I'll clear all this away and we'll get started. So this is the kit that you'll need, and everything is already cut for you except for the little parfum bottle that we'll be stamping and cutting on our piece of Whisper White here. And again, like I said, the dimensions will be on my website, www.carolbcrafts.com. Now this card is a gatefold card, and it has a little bit of a different unique feature here. It's a latch, kind of a latch that I've made, which helps keep it closed. So I like gatefold cards, but I don't like the fact that they flap open. So I've came up with that little design there to keep it closed, and I'll show you how that's made later on in the video. So we'll start with our stamping. So we'll put all of our goodies away for now. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my Stamparatus, and if you don't have if you don't have a Stamparatus, you'll need the D block, but if you do have it, you won't need the D block. So here are what we're going to be stamping on. I have these 2 labels. They are from the what is that? Stitched So Sweetly dies. This is a nice little bundle here that you can get, and we're going to be using this. This is the larger die that I used to cut this out, and this will also be on my website, www.carolbcrafts.com. So this is Whisper White. I give you 2, you only need 1 just in case. And this is for our stamping for our perfume bottle. So we'll go ahead and just stamp our little perfume bottle, and you will need Memento black ink. I always forget to give you one of those, an ink or something, but that's okay. Most of you have black ink on hand, so no big deal. So we're going to go ahead and ink this up, and put this here. Now this is why I love the Stamparatus, is you can stamp however many images you want. And there we go. That's good. So I'm done with that, and I'm going to clean this off with a wet wipe. So now we're going to do this this label here from our Stitch So Sweetly labels. And since this is photopolymer, we can just go ahead and put this where we want it. If you've used it, it'll probably have a little bit of a stain so that you can see it. And I'm just going to put that right here. Try not to have you see my head. Okay, and then I'll put this down to keep that in place. I'll put it there. keep that in place, and then I'll pick up my stamp, use my Petal Pink ink, and I'm just going to go lightly. I don't want to go too heavy on the ink right now, because with the sentiment stamp, especially photopolymer, it can get kind of mushy looking. And so there we go. I think I'll come back in one more time lightly, just to give that a little bit more color. Gently press down. Okay, that Y just needs a little help there on the end, just a little bit. Okay, so we're going to set this aside to dry, and I'll clean this off. So I have everything cleared away, and now we're going to do our coloring. We'll start, we have our light and dark Petal Pink, our light Pool Party, and our light Mango Melody Stampin' Blends. We'll start with our light Petal Pink, and I'm going to use the brush tip. This center piece here to the top, I'm going to do that in Petal Pink, the light Petal Pink. And then there's like a little neck here. I'm going to do that. And I'll do this part down here below that. Then we're going to go around the edges here. I'm going to leave this little line here for the light Pool Party. Okay, so we have our Petal Pink, and now we're going to do our Mango Melody, the light Mango Melody. We're going to do this inside the circle here, or square. Now we're going to take our dark Petal Pink and do the inside circle, or square. I'm going to try to avoid the letters as much as possible. I'm not going to go too heavy over the lettering. I don't want it to start to run on me. Okay, and then lastly we're going to do our light Pool Party using the brush tip again. And then I'm just going to put a little bit there, and down here at the bottom, if you want, if you feel confident enough, you can put a little bit down there just to give it like a glass look. Now we're going to die cut that with our little perfume bottle die. And I'm going to use some removable Scotch tape to hold that in place while I take it over to the die cutting machine. So I'm going to go die cut this, and then I will be right back. So now we have our label and our perfume bottle. So we'll clear away all this other coloring stuff. So I'll bring in our thick Whisper White card base. You'll see that it's scored 2 1/8 inches from each edge here. You're going to fold that, find the little valley, and you're going to fold away from you. Get your bone folder and crease that fold on both sides. That makes our gatefold card. So this should go pretty easy for us. We have 2 pieces of Petal Pink here. They are 2 inches by 5 3/8. And then we have our DSP. And our DSP comes from our Best Dressed Designer Series paper. And let's see, what are they? Yeah, these are 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. So these are going to go here on our petal pink cardstock, just like this. And so you can use whatever you want to use. I think I'll use glue because I like to be able to move things around. So I'm just going to put dots of glue in the corner and then just kind of around like that. Doesn't take a lot. Don't get too close to the edge. It'll ooze out. So we'll go ahead and put this in place, because it's important that you get these, line these up looking bright, because when they're side by side they will look much better if you have them perfectly spaced. So I'll go ahead and put this one on. Do my dots in the corner and then just kind of around. That looks good. There. Looks like this needs to come over just a little bit. You don't have a lot of time to straighten things up, but there. If you get any glue, just wipe your hands with a wipe. Now these are going to go on the outside flaps, just like this. And I'm going to use glue for that as well. I think it's good to use glue because when you're opening and shutting this, you are putting pressure on this paper, and the glue is going to make sure that it doesn't lift up. But if you don't have glue, you can use your snail. Just be generous with it so that you do get a nice adherence. Okay, so I think I might do it this way just because it's a little bit easier with that fold so close to it. All right, that is looking good. So that's our one side. We'll go ahead and do this side as well. And then I'm going to make sure that they line up good before that glue dries. And they're lining up really nicely there. That's good. Now for the outside part, we're going to have this label. It's also the same label as the inside, that label that I showed you from the Stitch So Sweetly dies, but this is Petal Pink. This is going to go on the outside. And again, I'm going to use glue because I really, really, really want that to stick. Because so the opening and closing can really put a strain on it. So I have it faced forward, but I'm going to flip it. And the reason I'm going to flip it is I'm going to put a mark. I'm going to position it in the center, and then I'm going to put a mark where the DSP ends, because I don't want to put glue on the other side of that. So that way I know that my glue isn't going to go over into the wrong area. So I'm just going to put some tiny, tiny dots of glue. Basically just tapping. And you can see that's quite a lot of glue, but that's good because it's going to need that to help it. So I'm going to hold this closed. And again, that glue is going to let me have a little bit of wiggle room while I get this straight and centered. And we'll give that a minute to set really well. And while that's setting, we can go ahead and do the inside, which we have a piece of the DSP from that same pack, Best Dressed. It's going to go here. Now that I'm going to put on with some snail because it's pretty easy. This is 4 by 5 1/4. 4 by 5 1/4. It's going to go here on the inside, just evenly all around. And then we have this. We can go ahead and put our inside sentiment. Now we want to place this so that when you open it, it is like in this exact same place. So we'll do that. We'll put some snail on the back. And I might go a little crazy because, and then I just ran out too. So I might have to get some more. So our snail refills are so easy to replace. You just take the casing off, pop one off, pop one in, and you are ready to go. That's how easy it is. And these I recycle. Get this last little bit here, and maybe something in the middle. So I want to make sure that the Happy Mother's Day is not upside down. I'm going to put it even here, and I'm just going to hold that in place, and I'm going to take this and fold it over, press it down, and now I have this perfectly behind that. Okay, that's that part. Now I told you about the little latch thing. We'll do that here in just a minute. I guess we'll go ahead and do the front. The front, we're going to need our perfume bottle, and we have 20 inches of this ribbon, which is sheer linen ribbon, and it is mint macaron sheer linen ribbon, 20 inches of it. And we're going to take our glue dots. Where's our glue dots? Here we go. And we're going to put a glue dot about, oh, you want it about there. You don't want it to go too far over, so in the middle. So I'm going to take a glue dot there, and I'm going to put it right there. Now, this isn't going to show. It's going to be under the perfume bottle, so it doesn't have to be perfect. And then we're going to make a little loop. Again, doesn't have to be perfect. And where it's going to be in the center, I'll put another glue dot there. And we've got another loop, glue dot where my thumb is. And put it in the center. And these actually look better if they aren't like all perfect. Get another glue dot. Put it there. And then my last one, I'm going to put it right here. Okay, so there is our bow. You can kind of spread it out a little if you need to so that it's not bunched up. And I'm going to go ahead and trim that with my scissors. Put a nice little edge on these. There we go. Now the perfume bottle we're going to put on with mini dimensionals. Let me get that up a little bit. Going to put our perfume bottle on with mini dimensionals, And we're not going to put mini dimensionals where the ribbon is. We are going to put them, put a couple up here on the lid, the top part, and one down here on the neck. And then along the bottom here, a couple in, one in each corner. And you might not want to do as many as I do, but they're cheap enough. And why not, right? So you want that in the center of your, where the center line is. So we'll remove the backings. I'll close my, and make sure that's in the center at the bottom and at the top as well. Okay, there's my perfume bottle. Now we're going to do that little latch that I told you about. Here, we'll need our glue for that. These are 2 thick Whisper Whites ovals that I've cut from our layering ovals dies, and you do want to use thick Whisper White because the thicker the better they'll hold. So I'm just going to glue these together. You'll see there's kind of like a little lip or indentation around the edges. You want to put those 2 together so that you have a nice look. It looks like it has a nice beveled edge there. Give that a minute to dry real quick. While that's drying, we'll go ahead and put our pearls on. We have 1 large and 2 small of the pearls. We'll use our little take your pick tool. The larger pearl is going to go up here, top right corner. These 2 pearls are going to go, where are you? Come on. Down here, kind of right there, wherever you think they look good. And next to each other, like that. So last, all we have left to do is put this in place. And if you look, it's halfway on and halfway off. Right there, halfway on and halfway off. So the side that's going to be facing in, you'll turn that around so that you can again get a pencil, which I forgot to tell you at the beginning that you'd need. Going to mark this. It won't show because it's going to be on the inside. And this side that we want to be against here, we're going to just smother it with glue dots. We're just going to make it so glue dotty that it's going to look like it's painted with glue dots. And the reason we're going to do that is because we want to make sure it stays put. And we all know how sticky these glue dots are. They are sticky. So I've kind of put some around the edge. Now I'm going to, this one's a little too far over, so I'm going to pull it off. It's too far over that. If it goes over that mark, it's going to interfere with the closing, and that won't work. So now we're going to put some kind of here, and that should be enough. I see a space there that could hold another one. There we go. Don't really want them to go on top of each other though, because then it gets too much of a too far up. Let me try that again. Don't want them on top of each other. Alright, and then it's a little close to the edge. Alright, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 glue dots. And now I'm just going to put this in place here. Half there and half there. And I don't want any glue dots past that line, because then when I'm going to smash it down first of all so it stays put. Then when I close it, it's going to stay closed. More so than it would if I didn't have that latch. Anyway. Okay, so that is our card. And I hope you enjoyed making this card. It's a beautiful Mother's Day card. And I think I will press this sides here because it still kind of wants to open up. So if I press these really, really good on both sides, there, that's better. It's going to stay shut much better. Come on. You can do it. Alright, there we go. Thanks for watching, guys, and check out my website, www.carolbcrafts.com, to see what current class kit I'm offering. Bye now.